The topic here is architecting for mass collaboration, and what that means to me is how do we take all the tools and technology that we have and the human behavior with all that talent out there and do things new. And I always think it's really important to have a little bit of context, but you're going to see some of these bullets actually are all about architecting for mass collaboration. You'll notice that even though while I'm the founder of a company and number one, co-creator, advisor, all those things are about the fact that we can't do all of these incredible big things without one another. And so there are certain things that I think about when I think about how do we create big things together. And the first thing I actually think about is how do I not be that big egotistical maniac, right? You saw that first slide with all the bullets and whatever, and that wasn't even like the awards slide or the accolades or what have you. So when you come into a context of where you're going to create something with other people that hopefully will spread the world over, you have to say, how do I not be that big red ego? How do I be that little white one? So when I think about it, I go, mass collaboration requires not only that removal of big ego from a context, it requires ecosystem thinking. You need to think about the entire picture and where you reside. And so if I just think about my own company, we have a core team of 15 employees today and started the company 4 years ago. We had 4 employees last year. We have this talent cloud around us of collaborators that we work with, and we have this really big and growing community. And inside that, there's the whole world. We're inside the whole world. And over time, what we've seen is that our company, it grows as the ecosystem grows. And if we didn't think about the fact that if we push out as much value as possible into the ecosystem so it grows, we probably wouldn't grow as fast and grow as well. And so that has been our take. If we said, well, let's extract as much value as possible, well, what would happen, right? This ecosystem around us would sort of shrink and wither a little bit instead of grow and be more healthy, and that would affect the way that we grow. So how do you harness an ecosystem around you? I started alluding to it, and it's by pushing out as much value as possible into it. And when people see that you're approaching a situation where, wow, Peter's going to try and, or the team that we're working with is going to try and add as much value as possible to the equation, I want to work with them. That reaction of, I want to work with them is how mass things start to happen. And mind you, I can't be compared to Parasite at all. I can't even claim to have any effect such like we've seen with the Arab Spring, but people were saying, how do I add value to the community that I have? How do I add value to this push of a democratic revolution instead of saying, oh, I want to grab power? Because if grabbing power was that equation, I don't think that we would see as much impact as we have today. And a part of that, and when people see you say, this isn't really about that big red ego. This is about finding a mission that's greater than yourself. People are going to want to join you on that mission. No one really cares about me. Maybe my mom does, maybe my brother does, maybe a few other people do. But they don't really care. What they really care is about a thing that's so much bigger than ourselves. And so when I started my company and all the things that we've done over the past 4 years, I said, what is it that we're doing that's so much bigger than us? Because I could try and be finding projects and building new technologies and doing marketing campaigns, but that's not what it's really all about. In a DC context, our big mission is how do we make this the most innovative and creative place on the planet? Now, most people say, well, DC is never going to be that. I mean, there's San Francisco and New York and Paris and London and Amsterdam and anywhere else. And mind you, DC is incredible and very innovative and creative. But that had to be our mission here. And so this has to be our mission because if we can't affect change in Washington, D.C., well, how could we even ever think we could affect change globally? If I can't change D.C., how could I actually change something globally? So the next thing is give more than you take. And I don't know if you have interactions with people where you walk into a room and you haven't met them before, and all of a sudden they're talking to you, they're talking at you for 2 or 5 minutes, and they think they've had a great interaction with you, and then they walk away. And you're like, that was really, really awful. And so they haven't actually given you anything. They've taken your time. And that's what they wanted to do. And that wasn't awesome. So when you're interacting individually, and if you think about it in mass then, if you're approaching the world with, I'm going to give more than I take in any given instance, you're going to be able to architect for mass collaboration. And if you do that, and if you give without expectation at the same time, people are going to say, wow, this person is adding value to the ecosystem. They're not expecting something from me. They're just giving me a view into their mission. This is probably something I want to get on board with. And I, too, want to push that value out into the community, into the ecosystem, because I think that we can build something bigger than ourselves. I'm on board with it. And when you do that, you start to feel actually really, really happy. And so I saw this quote the Dalai Lama had tweeted out, if you serve others as fully as you can, what you will do will be a source of inner joy. And you'll start to really feel that. You really will. Because as you see the value that you've pushed out there multiply, every minute of the day that I spend that I do something hopefully good in the community that we're in, I see it tenfold a year from now, 2 years from now. People have met clients and employees and wives and boyfriends, all that stuff. They just find what they need. It's interesting. We're not a dating service, I promise. And last time, if you start from this position of abundance rather than scarcity, you'll be able to change the world. A lot of people approach it, we don't have this, we don't have that, and all of a sudden you're boiling yourself down to nothing. Instead, start from the fact you have everything, and you might have to pull back just a little bit to make it executable, and you'll be incredibly successful. So thank you so much for your time, and see you soon.